James 2, verse 14 to 26 stands as one of the most discussed passages in the New Testament, not because it contradicts the message of faith, but because it clarifies the nature of faith within its historical setting and covenantal transition. The opening question frames the entire passage. What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? The emphasis is not on whether faith saves, but on the kind of faith being professed. The language assumes a claim, someone says, indicating a verbal confession without visible correspondence. The issue at hand is not the insufficiency of faith itself, but the emptiness of a faith that exists only as a claim detached from its proper expression. James presents an illustration, a brother or sister lacking daily necessities, and one responds only with words, "Depart in peace, be warmed and filled," without supplying what is needed. Such a response exposes a disconnect between speech and substance. In the same way, faith, when it is alone and merely asserted, is described as dead, not in the sense of non-existence, but in the sense of being unproductive, inactive, and without evidence in the visible realm. This discussion must be understood within the context of a people standing at the close of one age and the full manifestation of another. The audience addressed consisted of those among the scattered tribes, a community familiar with covenant identity, yet navigating the reality of fulfillment. Their confession of belief in the Messiah carried implications that extended beyond internal assent. It marked participation in a kingdom that was being revealed in power and in communal transformation. Thus, when James speaks of works, he is not introducing a separate means of justification before God, but addressing the demonstration of covenant faithfulness before men. This is why he says, "Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works." The visibility of faith is the point. Faith, by its nature, expresses itself. It is not static, but living. Even the acknowledgement that there is one God is insufficient on its own, for even the demons possess such recognition. The distinction lies not in mere belief of facts, but in the reality of trust and alignment with what God has accomplished. True faith rests in what has been fulfilled, and in doing so, it manifests accordingly. Abraham is brought forward as an example. Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac his son on the altar? This reference reaches back to Genesis, showing that Abraham's action did not create his righteousness, but revealed it. Faith was working together with his works, and faith was made complete. The offering of Isaac was not the origin of his standing with God, but the maturation and outward expression of a faith already counted as righteousness. Likewise, Rahab is presented as one who was justified by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way. Her actions demonstrated her alignment with the God of Israel, revealing the reality of her belief. The conclusion summarizes the argument, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. The analogy is not suggesting that works give life to faith in a causal sense, but that works are to faith what breath is to the body, the evidence of life. Where there is no expression, there is no visible vitality. Within this framework, James addresses a community transitioning from reliance on the structures of the Old Covenant into the realized substance of what had been promised. Faith in the Messiah was not a mere internal persuasion. It was participation in a living reality that inevitably bore fruit in observable ways. Therefore, the passage does not oppose faith and works as competing principles, but distinguishes between an empty claim and a living trust. It calls attention to the difference between saying and showing, between profession and manifestation, within a people who were witnessing the fulfillment of all that had been spoken.